Hello.
Yay! Hey, Queens. Oh my gosh. It's so good to be back. Happy Wednesday, goddesses. Nick, I feel like I was like, saw you in spirit. I want to come back. Hallie, so good to see you. Lexiana, I was just thinking of you. When is your master class? Is it today or tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. I'm so excited. I just got off a prep call with my funnels guy. And it's gonna be so fun. I
Yeah.
love this method.
So good. So good. So excited for you. Can't wait to hear your brags. Okay, well, let's actually open with some brags before we go in. This today's session is just going to be yummy. We're going to talk about Italy and the retreat. So, Lexiana, give us yours.
I have so many brags. It's been such a
Yay!
good month. I've just like blown it over out of the water this month. I'm so freaking proud of myself and just like yay life. Um my biggest brag is that I'm going to LA, so I'm really excited about hearing, your about your trip and like the openings and lessons you've had in it and stuff. I'm going to LA. I'm gonna see my favorite band that I really want to collab with. Meg, you know about this.
Yes. Oh, yay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I get to see them. I get to go to sound check. Um, and I'm really excited to be in the summer for 10 days because it's cold as hell here in Chile. Um, and I brag that I've been super financially stable for the last couple months and that I'm just like feeling good. I'm not like suffering through life anymore. And that's really nice.
These brags are so good. Okay, also, hang on though. This feels like a creme brulee brag that you get to go and do sound check with this band.
I just splurged on like the best fucking ticket I could get.
Goddess. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for you. Well freaking done.
And I get to ask them a question and stuff. So
Ah, okay. I just say this is a creme brulee brag because this gets you
yeah,
very close to some of your big desires. So I'm really love this. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
And celebrating you and not being in scarcity financially. Huge, huge win. Well done, goddess. Slain. Okay, who else has brags? Welcome, Robin, Zandra, Kaya. Flood us with juicy brags before we go into our juicy.
Yeah, I'll brag.
Okay.
So I brag. I'm a level 2 internationally certified chocolate sommelier. Yes, it's a thing.
Good.
Next brag, I hoovered in this amazing opportunity um to travel to French Polynesia, Tahiti, Bora Bora, Moria. Started out as just a vacation with my daughter here coming up in July into August. I brag that I have a friend that works in corporate for a major hotel chain. When I'm on Bora Bora, the resort we're staying at graciously said, "Hey, if you can do like a 45-minute to 1 hour chocolate event for us every day that you're here, like 1 hour, like pick the time. We'll let you stay here for free in an overwater bungalow." So my daughter and I are like going, and we're gonna do Tahiti, Moria, and Bora Bora, and like I hoovered in this freaking $1,500 a night overwater bungalow for an hour of my time doing something I love.
Oh my God, this is so good.
How about that? You see, Meg, you weren't around for a couple weeks at the beginning of like boot camp. So I'd
Oh,
shared
you
this,
shared
I
it.
think, um,
Oh, I'm so
but I'll
glad.
share it here just because the power of finding what we love and just
Yeah.
doing it, like it all comes flooding in. Yes.
And it feels like this is so powerful. I mean, it's advantageous for you
Yeah.
because you will be in front of so many other people.
Hmm?
And it kind of opens the doors. Like, if you can do it for this resort in Bora Bora, like, how many other incredible places could you go do this for?
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
am obsessed. This is so good, Robin.
Ah, thank you.
Oh, love it. Okay, let's do one more brag. Or not. Those were really good brags to just open with. Okay, we'll dive in. I brag. Well, oh, actually, I also just want to brag you, Robin. Another brag of yours. Robin held a really awesome call this morning and was so juicy, and I am personally so grateful to just have been juiced up by you and your magic this morning as well.
Thank you. I just changed literally 10 minutes ago out of that outfit because I was so busy doing other things.
Oh, same.
So, and I will celebrate my beautiful co-hostess because as we know, we only bring the energy that we can bring based on who we have to play it off from in those situations. And it
Totally.
was just like, can we just, it's like we both agreed. It's like, we don't know how we managed to be so lucky is to sign up for the same shift, if you will. But it was fabulous. Thank you
The
for
God,
that. Yeah.
yeah. The goddess always watches out for us in those ways. Yeah, Noemi's so juicy.
Thank you.
Ah, okay. So one, I just brag getting to be back on these Wednesday calls. I've really missed them. Um, and I will just use that as a brag of like, I'm constantly reminded how powerful it is to have these spaces and what happens for me, at least when I don't, um, is like pussy dries up like so fast. So I'm turned on and excited. I thought I just tapped into Pussy and like what would be juicy to do for this call. And I thought, I think it would be really juicy to share some behind the scenes, to hold space for questions. Um, and because there is so much to share, and I'm still totally in digestion mode. So this kind of is uh juicy for me in so many ways. So I feel like there's like so much I can share from behind the scenes from before, so the lead up to the trip to while being in Italy and Portugal, and then of course coming home. And I obviously so want to share all the juicy details of the trip, but one thing I want to share from beforehand is because I feel like it's just so relevant and, you know, on social media and all the spaces probably doesn't get seen. And I'm not one of those people to glorify. I think we talked about this somewhere yesterday, but like, how social media glorifies the whole process. And I'm not here to glorify it. The process is not easy. It's so hard to build a business, to run it. And one of the things that most people don't know is I sat multiple times this year thinking, oh, I'll just cancel the retreat and I'm just going to go to Italy. Like I sat with that, and in sitting with that, I remembered how, oh, I've done this all 3 of the years before showing up for this retreat. I've thought about, oh, I think I'll just cancel it, which I think is so important to share because the first year there were 11 women who attended. Last year there were 7. This year there was 7. Like there, and all those numbers are full retreats. I actually love the 7 is to be honest perfect. It's perfect for the space. Um, literally can only fit that many bodies. So I just wanted to share that was one of the behind the scenes thing of like this, do I run it? Do I not? Because, and it's not just the retreat, I think this is runs through our heads as leaders before anything. Do I run the program? Do I not? Do I cancel? It's like constantly there. And it was so there. And one thing that this segues into was when I left for Italy, there were only 4 women signed up for the retreat. And I thought, fine, if it's 5 of us, that's also great. Like this will be a really juicy, intimate container, which means it's going to be actually a lot more luscious. We'll get to go deeper. The shares will be deeper. And then as soon as I landed in Italy, literally I arrived one evening. The next day I woke up, my phone pinged this one message. I just did it. I signed up. I'm coming. And then like an hour or two later, another ding. I just paid. I'll see you soon. Like, and this was the Thursday and we opened on the Tuesday. So these two people, it was kind of like energetically, like my feet needed to touch the soil, I think, before those two could actually lock in. And so I just share this because for all those people, if you're ever in that moment of like, oh shit, I think I should just cancel it. Like so much happens in last minute. That was 4 days before the retreat opened and two people locked in to give us a really full, whole container of goddesses. So yeah, the goddess is always looking out for us. And she loves when we just hold things like, like we say we're going to do the thing. So we hold it and she needs us to hold it, right? Like if I had canceled, those two people couldn't have surprised and shocked me that Thursday. And she loves to delight us in those ways. So that was some of like the really fun preamble. And then I thought I want to go to Italy because, to be honest, jet lag doesn't hit me so much when I'm going over to Europe. It's coming home from that really nails me. But I thought I'd love to just go and just have, I usually go to France beforehand and do like a whole Magdalene thing and just like connect into that priestess energy before opening space for the women. And so I thought, let's just go and let's just go tap into the mermaid. You can go to a different beach every day, I'll fill my cup and be ready for these goddesses. And that was genius. I'm so glad that I did that. What was interesting this year was I was so emotional. Like energetically, once the container opened, I understood because there was a lot of feelings and emotions to hold for the women who coming. So I swear I cried for all of them, for myself and all of them so hard leading up to the retreat. But I thought that I was going crazy. It was really my period started the night that we opened. And then the very first day, which happened to be the day where we had a full, we went and we did Neptune's grotto. I take them to the nude beach. And then I took them into town with flirt bingo to courtesan their way through the town. So we were out from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. on the heaviest day of my flow, which is like when we should be doing nothing. So I think the 2 days before opening, I just cried knowing like, my spirit body knew it was like having a tantrum of what I was going to have to carry and like getting it out of my system so that I could hold all of them. But I thought, honestly, one thing, I feel like there's a story I'm missing. I hope it comes back to me. Oh, and the little things like I went to this gorgeous beach that I haven't gone to in Asia, like I've never gone to because you have to buy tickets beforehand. There's only a max. What was funny too is I bought the tickets and I went and when we're in flow, I was like, wow, this spot looks gorgeous. And I'm like looking and it's kind of like those rocky, like mermaidy kind of shoreline, like with little mini mermaid coves. And I was like, this is so beautiful. And I keep walking towards the beach. And then I start to hear people's voices down in these trees. And I'm going, what's going on? Like people are down there. And it's like I peek and then there's all these little trails. And so I didn't even need to buy the ticket. I could have gone the last 2 years. I'm so silly. I love when systems like conform us to like, I was limited in thinking just go. So I didn't even go to the crazy packed beach with umbrellas where I didn't want to be anyways. Found this most perfect spot on these rocks, but I left my favorite earrings. And there are these like earrings that I get every time I wear them, I get like, like 5 compliments in a day. And I was just so beached out, and I put them on my dress, and I picked up my dress and like had folded it over. So anyways, the earrings like dropped out. So little things like that. So like that happened. I know. I thought it's fine. It's an offering to the mermaids. But like that got me emotional. And then I felt lonely. And so then I got emotional because I was like, I'm here alone, blah. Which then turned me on because I'm like, yeah, you're alone now, but you have all of these. It's perfect because then it's gonna make being in sisterhood that much better. And so I'd had this tearful experience the night before. I think also it was just like the night before opening, so I was just feeling it. Also, most of the women that came to this retreat I didn't know, which felt really magical. Yeah, there was only two women, one who I've is a colleague and client that I've worked with and have met in person multiple times. She came to the Costa Rica retreat in March. And another is a client who I've known virtually, but I've never met her in person. And then the four others were all women that I didn't know. Hi, Ampa. Ampa, you were with us in spirit too. You were so with us in spirit.
I know. So happy I'm here. I'm going to unmute myself.
Sure. And I had this assistant who I'd had one at Sister Goddess who who had said, I want to come and be your assistant, blah, 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 I'll be there. And then she backed out like 3 weeks before. And I was like, what? You knew, like, I just needed somebody to count on. And I went through this whole thing of like, it's fine. It's a small group. You don't really need an assistant, which also, I'm so grateful that this angel came into my life because we're silly to think that we don't need assistance during retreat. It means everything to be supported. And so this goddess messaged that she says, I've been following you for years, have never seen this woman on any of my posts ever. So here's another lesson to everyone who thinks that there aren't people there. This woman said she's been following me for years and I've never seen her name. So she messages and she says, I know you probably, it's last minute. Of course, you have all of your team, but there's something in me. I feel ridiculous sending this, but do you need an assistant? This was the morning after the one goddess had canceled. And I was like, jaw to the floor. I was like, this is so weird that you're sending this. Like, I do. My other goddess just backed out yesterday. And so then we were both in like full goosebumps and like, oh God, this is total divine alignment. So she ended up coming, but again, didn't know her. Also, her profile like didn't have her real name or any photos. So I'm kind of like, I don't even know what this woman's gonna look like. And she was amazing. And then another, my photographer who came last year, also around the same time, backed out. And this other photographer who had on her vision board to travel to Italy and to be a photographer for retreats. And so I said to her, I need a photographer. And one of the things that I love about this is I need the photographer who will do a whole group goddess photo shoot, but also I'd love for you to offer. So it's for the photographer, she is also offering women the opportunity to sign up for like a mini shoot with her. And so she's going, this is two things on my vision board. Like, of course I'm going to be there. So they came early. I always go up to the retreat center a day early. So we get there. I also had made one request, just one request. There's very little that I need to be satisfied. And this was that we had these two rooms that are adjacent to each other. They're separate from the other rooms. Last year, I mean, it was also a desire. We could just leave our doors open. And so it was kind of like, a shared unit. And for me, there's pleasure in just kind of having like the sister goddess connection and my support team right there. And of course, we arrive and they go, well, Meg, here is your room. and it's in the room where all of the other women who are coming for the retreat will stay. And then they take my 2 support team staff and they take them to this other room that's as far, it's like a solo room away from all the other rooms. And I'm going, no. I'm like, no, this isn't right. I had one request. And I literally had the biggest meltdown. I think it was just, I was already emotional, hormonal, and had been traveling. Oh, there's the other story that I wanted to say. Alghero, which is the town that we're based in, they had their very first Ironman race, which, I mean, I brag, an Ironman is essentially all of the most gorgeous men from Italy coming together in one place. So I was quite okay with that part of it. And I feel like I didn't fully take advantage of the fact that there were all these, like, I should have been like titty flashing at the sidelines, you know? But it meant that the town was like crazy packed. And in Alghero, it's one of those cities that has like you kind of like one of those like fortresses in old town. So it's like a walled area. Vehicles can't go into it. So I have all this big luggage. I also have a vehicle. And basically it meant there was no parking anywhere. So it would take like 30 minutes to an hour to find parking. And I also would have to take any parking spot I could find, which means most parking spots were like a 20 to 30-minute walk to, because I booked an Airbnb that happened to be right in the middle of the old town. So as much as, I had the best, I mean, it was the best Airbnb. If you ever want to go to Alghero and want a great spot, it's literally the best view overlooking the bay that you could get, I think. But it was so stressful. It was stressful to like leave because I was leaving with a car to go to a different beach every day. And I was alone. It's like those small European towns. So I think I was just carrying, like, as much as I was in relax mode, I was so stressed. And the day of the Ironman race, I couldn't even get out of Old Town because the route literally went wrapped around, and they weren't letting people cross because it was like the part where all of the men were literally coming through during the run portion. And so I'm like, oh my God, I can't, how do you even get out? And so it took me an hour to figure out how to get across the road to be able to even leave. And then to even get on a road, all of the roads were closed. I wanted to go to the nude beach so badly. You couldn't get the road to the nude beach was closed. And so I was like, what the fuck is going on? So the Ironman made a bit of a nightmare. But I've looked ahead at next year and they have it 2 weeks earlier. So it will not affect travels next year. Thank God. So I think I was just carrying all of that. So I went into like full toddler level meltdown and, it was like, where's my support team? I've just got to call them and swamp, or I need a spring clean, or I just need someone to be on the other end of the line while I sob. And of course, like, no one was picking up. No one was picking up until finally I got like one sister goddess and I was like, listen, I know this is so stupid, but they fucked up the rooms. And the 2 women that don't know me, the photographer and the assistant, are like witnessing me in this full, and I was like, they're gonna think I'm crazy. Like this is insane. Oh shit. And I'm like, I can't stop it. Like this is happening. I just have to have this. And so luckily I was like, just I'm gonna take a second to cry. I can't stop it. I'll be over to your room in a minute. And so like just sobbed to this one girlfriend who just held space. And then I did as every woman does. I was like, okay, we're putting on a couple grief songs and you're gonna do just a slutty grief dance. And I did 2 songs, and I was like able to breathe again. And I was like, okay, you got to get up and go walk to your team before they think that they need to like leave ASAP. And they were like, yeah, we kind of were like, oh shit. But like I said, it was interesting because one of the first practices that we opened with was like what was to share a story of something that did completely break you. You know, like share this moment that broke you in your life. And there were so many tears. And so it was like, oh, I see, like this is why I also needed to cry, was because I was going to have to hold all of this. So those are like the behind the scenes of like leading up to opening it. And also just like the behind the scenes fact of like, oh shit, sometimes we have to lead a retreat in a foreign country and hold 8 women while we are in our bleed. And 4 of the other women at the retreat also happened to be on their bleed. Like it was a lot of energetically. But we also had so much fun. Like the highlights for me, I mean, Neptune's Grotto is I've gone 3 times and is just as awe-taking as it could be every time. You know, like you see those, there's like the classic Mediterranean cliffs that are, you know, soaring above the waters. Like it's basically that, but it has 750 stairs that take you on this very, I just, when I walk them, I try to think who the fuck built these. I don't know how anyone did it because it's massive cliffs. And so you're starting from the top and you're just scaling the side like a billy goat until you get then to what is like a literal mermaid palace. So that I always love, that's always really profound. There's always like really profound hits that women get in entering that space. The nude beach for me was also really fun because there's men there, right? Like I think because it's a women's retreat, you know, we're so used to doing like we're doing, and for some of the women, you know, we're going through practices that even if they have been doing this work, they might never have done it in person. And so, you know, there's nudity and there's pussy and there's like all of these things that are edge pressing, but we never get to do that with men around. And so there is something really powerful about being on the nude beach with men around. Also, me gushing blood everywhere, and the nude beach is like a 10-minute walk from the car. And of course, I left my tampons in the car, not even thinking. And so it was like so cute. I was like, well, those napkins from our lunch seemed really strong. I was like, could someone pass me the napkins and I'll just like put them under my bum? And I guess it's funny because also like there's constantly people like walking up and down the beach, and I was like, there's for sure blood. I can feel it down my ass cheeks, like landing on this napkin. Like I'm not hiding anything. Oh, and then the other thing that was hilarious was like, you know, so it's just this like perfect image. You know, there was these 2 beach blankets and all we didn't have the whole group yet. Two of the women came late. Is that right? So I think there was just 7 of us, all laid out, you know, like gorgeous sardines on this, these beach blankets. And we're all talking, we're flirting and we're giggling and we're telling stories. And all of a sudden the seagull flies by and shits. And it comes and it hits not just one of us, but it splatters across 3 of us. Like so humbling. And also like, who the fuck was this seagull from some past life? Like, you know, it was like he was given a mission. Like he literally was like to his buddies, like, how many do you think I can hit? Like, you know, like he won the game. He got 3 in one shot. And but I also brag, like, we were all so awesome. All of us are like, oh, that's like really good luck, right? Like the fact that it got 3, like we were like, this is powerful. But then also we were like, also we all need to go in the water now. So I guess we're all going swimming. But yeah, no one threw a fit getting splattered in bird shit, which I thought was pretty amazing from a group of women. Because there could always be some women who could throw a stink about that. And and then the flirt bingo. I mean, there were so many things. I think because this is the third one, and so some of these rituals just feel so routine, but these were just so fun. So the flirt bingo was this card that everyone was given. And I was so smart because I wasn't going to give any women reasons or excuses to not be able to do this. So on one side was all of the outrageous dares in English, but then on the back, they had all of the squares in Italian. So if they went up to any unsuspecting partakers, they could literally be like, I'm playing this game and I have to do this. And it was this thread that ran in the background. The idea was for it to take place that one afternoon, but it kind of just ran through the whole retreat. And there's two of the women who got very competitive. They were like, I'm going to win the prize. The prize is mine. And it just extended so far beyond that afternoon. And even I think women who were kind of like, well, I'm not going to try to win, but there were so many accessible squares, at dinner, they'd be like, oh, I think I just got this square. Everyone was participating. And once it got competitive, also there were women who were like, I'm going for the ones that I know nobody else is going to get. And it ended up lasting all the way to breakfast because they were like, wait, I can get some of these done at the retreat center. At our celebration dinner, we were back in town. And so the two competitive babes got up and just vanished into the crowds. And we were like, whoa, wow. What do you think they're going to do? And one came back and she's like, I did the one that no one else is going to do. She's like, I just made out with an Italian man. And she's like, she actually was really brilliant. She just kind of picked a man she was going for. And she said, listen, here's this game that I'm doing. You pick which squares you want to do, but I need to knock a bunch off. So he picked, I'll make out with you. And she did. And she was so cute too. She's like, well, because we were like, well, how do you know you did this? And she's like, well, I got a picture with him. And we were like, well, show us the picture. And she's like, well, he's no Adonis. I mean, if there was any image that you would put with Adonis, it was this man. She was so cute. It's no Adonis. He was a gorgeous Italian man. And so she was winning well in the forefront to winning this from her excursion. But then on the way home, a bunch of the women had to jump in a cab to go home. And their cab driver happened to be this very attractive Italian man. And so when we got to the retreat center, she'd basically completely caught up. So they were neck and neck. And what just got so fun in playing this game, they were in the cab. So there were, I think, two or three other women. And so they were now in the game with her. Also, witness. And he pulled over and went and picked these flowers and came back with flowers for each of the women in the car. It just elevated it for everyone. So this flirt bingo, that I thought was just going to be this fun little afternoon thing became I will never not include this flirt bingo game in the retreat. So I think those were my highlights. Yeah, and the first night we did this thing where it kind of just became these painted golden bodies under the sun. The sunset at this time of year in Italy and Sardinia is just gorgeous. It's 4 hours of just this gold light. So it was these shimmering gold bodies under this shimmering gold sun. It felt you really do step anyone who's gone to like in-person retreats, you know what it's like, right? Like it's like you do step through a portal. It's like a threshold gets crossed and you kind of do exist in this alternate reality for those days. And that felt so much like what had happened. And then like the transition, I mean, it goes by, it feels like it's going to last forever. And then all of a sudden it's Saturday and it's like the closing session, which is even crazier because you have the closing session, but then all of a sudden women are catching the rides down to like go to the airport. And it's like we're all pussy stroking together and then someone's on an airplane and it feels so weird. And returning home. And I think what's hitting me right now too is because I thought, well, I always give myself time before and after as like buffer so I can prep and then digest. And it was genius. I thought, well, let's change scenery. Was it genius? I don't know. It felt like it was. I thought I'm going to go to Portugal, do something, go somewhere I haven't been. Because I just had, 5 days in Alghero beforehand, which was great, but it was like completely immersing into another world. So I kind of felt like I leapt from one world to another, which didn't really help in terms of actually digesting the time in Italy. But it was an epic holiday that I had with my mom. We killed Portugal. Like our days were unfolded. We had like little ideas. We were like, well, let's go here in the morning. Let's go here in the afternoon. No idea of what we would do. And just the days unfolded so perfectly. I was like, we are master travelers. But it did make coming home. It was kind of like, when you hit like a wall of like, oh shit. Okay. Back to reality. So, and to be honest, like I can't think of any retreat that I've come from where I've feel like I've masterfully avoided that reality hit that happens when you come back from something like that. So right now I do still feel like that's just inevitable to kind of be in that haze of coming back. Digestion is all I know that really helps it. So like having like a rupture riders call. Today we did a swamp with the group because everyone is like feeling like reality is like kicking their ass. So, continuing to digest together, going to the virtual boot camp, having Robin's session to go to, like those things are massively, massively helping me just plugging back in because also I find when I get out of, even though, it was a retreat where we had all of those things, like the routine of my pleasure practices, like of being here and even being with clients and things like that is, gets so washed out for those 2 weeks. And for me, it's still hard. I'm like, oh, I just want to be miserable and dry and I don't want to reach for any of those things, but I also know better. So that's kind of the roller coaster of what it has looked like. I know I'm totally missing on a million things that happened at the retreat itself. So I would love to open up space for any questions from anyone. It could be around leadership, like if you have questions about or long to run retreats, or if there's stories that you feel like I didn't share, let me know. I'm already thinking of a couple things. Hiya.
Okay, so you're in your transition space from like all of this lusciousness, and you didn't have to do the pleasure practices because you were just like in the pleasure, and now you're having to reach for them again. Um, do you have any like tips for how you reach for like from the space of not doing them for so long?
Yeah. Well, so that's one thing I will say is, I mean, I did still make sure that I was plugged in. Like the first time I got emotional, I did reach out to a sister goddess to do a spring clean. Um, and then during the retreat. So usually when I go to retreats, I always wake up in the morning and go do like my at home erotic photo shoots is like one of my pleasure practices. I love doing that. And so I've never done that during my own retreats, usually just because the schedule is so full. But I did that 2 of the mornings, and that really juiced me up. So I was still being conscious of my own tools. Also, I had like a couple women lined up, like you know how you were like, who can hold a spring clean for me after my master class? So it's like I set that up, like who can I have 3 women that can just kind of be on call that I can just know I can send brags or swamps or whatever to. Um, but I felt very out of that when I was in Portugal with my mom because we were in the city. Like I had nowhere to get up and go do erotic photo shoots. So I think that 4 days is where I felt like it really threw me, probably, yeah, kind of pulled me out, even though we were so deep in pleasure. But since getting back, well, I also know that I'm like in transition. So one thing I also just told myself was like, you're just coming back. So this expectation that I have to just like snap back and be in it is unrealistic. So it's like, okay, just like slow down. So, like again, this might be a bad habit, but I have this like word game that I love to do on my phone. And I'm like, I'm gonna just let myself on Saturday and Sunday have unlimited amount of time. Um, and it's not like I was on it all day, but like I'd sit and do it for like half an hour with guilt free. Um, and Saturday was rainy here, and Ian and one of my daughters, like they went in to go biking, and I was like, jet lag was so brutal. Also, I just hadn't like when I am leading a retreat, my sleep, I don't sleep well. I think I'm so high on like probably all of just the energy and adrenaline and dopamine, and I like to, the day dinners, those Italian dinners are so good, but dinners finish between 10 and 11 any of the nights. So, it's like 11 and then I'm called to check in with the kids because I can't not talk to them. Um, and by the time I'm done, it's like midnight, but then there's like prep for the next day. And so my sleep was really messed up coming back. I don't know if anyone has an aura ring, but it was like my aura ring was like, you have 10 plus hours of sleep debt. And I was like, this is not good. So I was like, no, you have to catch up on your sleep. And so Malia and I laid in bed. I don't know if you guys have heard about the book. It's written by Carly Fortune, but it's set here, like my home, this town that I'm in. The book is based here, and it's like, I think it's a love story, but it's called Every Year After or Every Summer After. But it just had this, it's not a Netflix series, it's on Prime. And so Malia was like, you should watch this with me. And so her and I just literally spent the rainy day in bed. I didn't get out of my pajamas at all that day, Kaya. And that was in my pleasure. I was like, I'm it was in my pleasure to stay in my pajamas all day. Um, what else? I feel like, I don't know. Yesterday I was kind of really resistant to pleasure. Like I kind of was like, I just want to be alone and miserable and lost in the woods. Like kind of wanting to be like, oh, what is the word? Like rebellious. I was like, I'm not gonna reach for pleasure. I'm just gonna be miserable forever and see how that serves me. But then there was this rupture riders call this morning, and I had the perfect excuse not to go because I had to get ready for this, for other calls that were coming after it. And then I was like, no, just go. You can get ready and, you can do the rupture ride. However that looks like while you're getting ready. There's no reason you can't do that while getting ready. And that really fed me and plugged me back in. And then I DJ'd for the virtual boot camp call, and just being able to be there and receive from that juiced me up even more. Um, and then I got to swamp with the retreat babes. So like today, uh, that really amplified my turn on from where I'm thinking where I was and how I'm feeling now. And also like as I was giving myself permission to just like reach and receive that, uh I'm not feeling so alone. Like I do feel plugged back into the sisterhood. And uh I've started to be like, well, where else are you like avoiding showing up? Like my coach has a couple groups and I'm like, you never show you haven't been showing up in those threads. So I'm like, wait, why don't I go and say something in this group? So reaching for pleasure right now is just like totally shifting how connected I've felt in the other spaces, which is it's totally feeding my turn on. Like I don't feel so woe is me, miserable, alone, lonely, because I'm open my legs to receiving. As we do. As we do. And even in that, Kaya, like this has always been my process of like get up and get turned on while getting ready. Like go curl your hair. What outfit do you want to wear? Like what outfit do you want to wear right now based on how you feel? Um, do your makeup so you feel pretty, put on some jewelry. That always really helps.
That was amazing. Thank you for all of that, Meg. Not only the retreat overviews and kind of synopsis, but also just going back into turn on and showing up even when we don't feel like it. That's usually when we need it the most, you know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And even when we want to throw a tantrum and be like rebellious, and I'm not gonna fucking reach for it. Yes, we will. Because we love it. We actually love it. Uh, okay, goddesses. Um, I'll just double check if there's any other questions. We can probably do one more question. If there is any.
I'm curious, when is your next retreat, or are you not even thinking about that right now?
No, I am thinking about it. That I'm thinking about that one. Because it's funny, because again, when I was like, oh, maybe I'll just cancel it, and I was like, maybe I won't do it next year, but I'm like, I'm never gonna stop doing this one because it's so beautiful. Um, and so there were so many women actually from this year who, again, who were like couldn't come, but they were like, I'm not missing another one. Like I'm gonna be at next year's. So I am gonna send out the link for next year's. Um, I just need to confirm. I want to do it a week later than I usually do. One, it's usually just a little bit warmer. And there was another reason. Oh, the full moon. We would have a full moon on Friday, which I think would be we had a full moon last year. And that's another thing that, just like the spontaneous little bonus things that come up. And so last year there was like 4 or 5 of us who went and did just like a really juicy sex magic dance under the full moon. So I want to do that again. So I'm going to send that out so people you can put a $500 deposit down or book your spot. And I am feeling like I want to do more retreats, because there is nothing juicier than in person. I would really love to do a retreat in southern France.
Oh,
And I'm
yes.
yeah,
Mm, yes,
October.
yes.
So that'll be October. I'm just trying to do like I'm like, do I want to do it like the Marseille area and that coast from Marseille down to Sainte Marie de la Mer, or more inland like Rocamadour area and uh Rennes-le-Château. Actually, Rennes-le-Château and Bugarac are so rich.
Yeah,
Maybe that one.
yeah.
Mm.
I
You'll be
I
there?
want to say, yeah, I want to say thank you. And I was there last week. Just 1 week ago, I was at Rennes-le-Château and Bucharest. Yeah, such so amazing. And I wanted to say thank you for everything that you share, for all your inspiration, your generosity, your vibration, your devotion, and yeah, I can join right now live, but I still keep following you, and I feel you, all you goddesses, and yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome.
Such
You're
a
so,
gift.
we were so, yeah, I so felt you for the retreat. I feel like Aggie brought you in her heart, and obviously me as
Yeah,
well. But yeah.
thank you.
And just, yeah, if, anyone that wants, if you were thinking about doing in-person retreats, like, I just like do it. It's not easy. I won't glorify it, but it's so worth it. So, if you haven't and you want to, I'm just going to be that voice to say, oh my God, go do it. Um, and tell me about it, because I'm obsessed with traveling. So I want to know where all the amazing retreats are happening also. And let's just travel and be together in all of the amazing places. Dana.
No, I just wanted to say I just got off of a call. And I know this doesn't happen with your retreats because I could just feel like your energy and your pacing and the amount of women that you bring, like it seems so intimate and so luscious. And I just was bringing this forward because I was on a call right before this where people went to a retreat and they didn't feel like they had all the information, and some felt more trauma after, more disembodied, and there was too much going on, and they were told that they had their voice and they could do what they wanted, but they had so much activation. And I thought, well, like, because we've all done Regina's work, and like anytime you go anywhere, um, like there's always stuff that comes up that's so good. And I guess then I thought, in that place, like it's all perfect what happens, and what would you want more of? And I asked them if they had feedback that they would share, like because this is just, so I imagine you probably ask for it, but I feel like in your experience it's different because you just model something so differently. So I was just curious how you probably shared this. I'm coming late to the call, but do you ask for feedback, and then how do you do it? And it's probably a totally different experience because you're just a mermaid.
Yeah, well, I mean, Regina's like really taught us how to frame, so we're digesting like throughout the retreat. So I do think that it's like I am always grateful with frames because I am always getting information all throughout the retreat. But I always want feedback. Um, I do think that that is like what you were just touching on. And it's funny because I was on the airplane home from Portugal beside a woman from Denver, which I thought that's so crazy because I have so many girlfriends in Denver. And uh, she had just done a retreat, and she was like, it was just like the days were so packed. And she was like, for me, she's like, I'm just so exhausted that I like need a holiday after the retreat. Because there was no integration time built in. And one thing that I did change based on feedback from past years, like that's how, and Regina also packs a lot into her retreat. So this was like where I was like, wait, like how you can run your retreat how you want, Meg. And so it's like, what if like I usually would do 3 sessions a day, and I thought, no, it's a smaller group. This was when I thought it was just going to be 5 of us. And I thought, let's like what if I took out, no one's going to know. What if we just do 2 sessions a day? And so I did make that change this year. The crazy thing though, that is actually was like a total mind fuck for me, was the days were still very full. I literally look and I'm like, I can't physically understand how I had a whole other session built into this for 2 years because the days were so full. But that is one thing. Like I just thought this will be, I think it's, you just get so much being in person. Also, the practices, uh, like pussy-centered practices are so powerful that you don't need a lot. There's so much like that reverb from one practice is so powerful. And I think just having the integration time actually amplifies that even more. So I will not be going back to 3 practices a day, partly because my mind is like, I can't think out time-wise how that ever worked. But yeah, there's always like one thing, because I was saying at the beginning, Dana, that a lot of the women were new. 4 of the women were women that were total, basically, strangers to me. Not totally strangers, but pretty much. And yeah, I just have like, I think one thing that I overlooked was I kind of wish that I just put some of the, like, this is a private space. Let's not, like, I didn't kind of go through like the roles. Like I'm so used to the community knowing what the rules of engagement are in a group. And I think that not everyone knew that, because some of them were very new to the work. So I'd love to have given more time to that. I don't think it was a detriment, but and one thing I also really wanted women to understand was like, you can talk about this experience, like your experience, but please don't share anybody else's stories or anyone else's like, private details, because so much does get shared in that space. So those were just things that like I was catching for myself that I really wanted to make sure were covered. But yeah, you always learn
Thank
so
you
much.
for sharing so generously. You're amazing. One of these days I'm coming.
Yay, I can't wait. Can't wait. Okay, goddesses. Well, thank you for coming and just like reliving this with me. And yeah, I know we'll be so many of us will be in person and hugging, and I just see that desire. May we all get to hold each other in person. And yeah, hopefully some of you will be
Yes.
in Italy
Oh,
next year, or France, or wherever the goddess blows us. So
I can't wait to listen to the replay. Thank you, Magical Meg. Love
you're
Thank you,
welcome.
sisters.
I will also just say 2 things on the horizon. Sacred Seductress was such a sexy container in space. None of us want it to end, so it is not ending. So it's like second round is going to be starting the second or third week of July. So if you didn't get to be there and would like to jump into this, it was just such a luscious content. Like I don't think I'll ever want it to end. So if you would like to have a space where you can be accountable to turn on through the summer, please come join us for the second round of Sacred Seductress. And Kinky Business is also on the horizon. Oh, my children are home. The dogs are greeting them. But Kinky Business is on the horizon. So if you are building a business or scaling a business and you want to do it using the fuel of turn on, which I think any wise goddess knows how powerful that is, would love, love, love to have you in that container. And I brag that Kinky Business is this year going to be the juiciest, because you actually get access to Sacred Seductress if you sign up before that starts. And you also get access to the champagne chamber, which is the turned on like pussy mind. So you're getting Kinky Business, you're getting champagne chamber, you're getting Sacred Seductress. It's wild. you're getting, yeah. And I will say like Champagne Chamber is 1,100 a month. And so like that you're basically, I mean, I think Kinky Businesses might maybe a little bit more than that, but it's very close. So like you're really, really getting a deal. So reach out if you want to chat about that. It's going to be amazing. Okay, babes, have an amazing Wednesday. Those of you who are in Sacred Seductress, I will see you tomorrow and come back next Wednesday for more. Okay, bye, babes.